The only reason I'm going to go into this is because you're Gen Z just like me, right? What are you? You're 24, 25 years old or something?
Younger, but okay, sure.
What are you,
Continue.
22?
Younger, but continue. That's beside
20,
the point.
21?
Younger, but continue. That's besides the point.
Oh, I mean, come on, just say it. What are you, scared?
No, I'm 19.
You're 19. Jeez
Yes.
Louise. All right, so you're Gen Z just like me, all right? I'm
How old are
23.
you?
I'm 23.
Continue.
Yeah.
You
You
sound, I'm
did
not
the
gonna lie,
same
you sound
thing three,
older.
4 days ago. Yeah, so
Sure.
whatever. Point being, do you not see any issue with the fact that 50% of women in our generation identify as LGBTQ, and somewhere around 35 to 40% of our entire generation, including men, identify as LGBTQ?
No, I don't see an issue with that.
You don't see an issue, right? So long term, if this trend continues, you don't see an issue with it, right?
I do not see an issue with it now.
So can I tell you the issue that I have with it, and then you can say why it's not an issue?
Sure.
Right. So let's just say, I mean, it's simple math. I mean, I think you said that you went to school, right? You dropped out.
No, I never went. I graduated high school. I'm gonna go to college. I'm taking a gap year.
Oh, so he's taking a gap year. Okay, great. So, but I'm sure you took calculus, right?
No, I think I chose
Oh, okay, so
one
you
of the other
didn't.
ones.
All right,
Yeah,
that stinks.
like for high school. Yeah.
All right, sure, but I'm sure you know basic algebra, right? So here's the deal, right? If 50% of our generation, and let's just say because they identify as LGBTQ, right? So let's even say half of them. So let's say 25%
Sure.
of our generation are essentially infertile, right? Do you think that that does not have long term complications for our
No,
country?
no.
No,
And
it
no,
doesn't,
they're
right?
not infertile. They're able to have
No, well, no.
they're able to
If
have
you're if
children.
you're if you're gay, what do you want to say? If you're not straight, right? Then you're
Sure.
essentially infertile. I mean, if we're gonna tell the truth of the matter, right?
Sure, but you can always have children by adopting.
Not really though. I mean,
You can
not
adopt
really.
children. And I think the
Yeah, but
solution
that's
here to
not
what
the
you're
same.
saying, I don't think it's an issue, but if you believe it's an issue, the solution is just going to be more immigration into our country.
Exactly, right? So, and you don't see that as a problem.
No. What's the issue with more immigration?
The degradation of our culture, right? I mean, that's pretty
What
simple,
culture? What's
right?
our culture?
American culture?
What
Do
is
you not
American
understand
culture?
that? This is the thing. People want to say, "Oh yeah, there's white culture, there's black culture." No, white and black culture are essentially the exact same thing when you compare it to cultures that are coming into our country
Well, all I'm
today.
asking you is what is the culture of America? What is American culture? Can you define that for me?
Very easily. I mean, you talk about American culture, you talk about, uh, you know, you talk about self-servants, you talk about, you know, preserving our, dude, you can go into a million things, right?
Okay, self-serving. Are immigrants self-serving? I would argue
Well, no,
yes. They
no,
come into this
they
country to try to get a better
no,
life for
no.
them, their children, their
Here you go.
children's children, etc.
Here's where you dive into the deeper topic, right? Where,
Right. This is a nuanced conversation. Yes.
yeah, no, you're right. It really is. I mean, when you talk about Americans being self-serving, that is what we should be, right? We should not be, we should not be the world police, right? We've tried that aspect for about 50 years. It hasn't worked, right?
Sure.
And when you go into are your parents immigrants, or were they born here? Let me just ask, just to get a baseline.
They're immigrants. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Where are they from?
My mom's from South America. Dad's from Mexico.
Okay, very good. And do you consider yourself American or no?
I am American
No, I'm
by
saying, do you
definition.
consider yourself like American first, or do you consider yourself like I'm sons
Sure.
of America?
Yeah. I'm America first. Sure.
All right, very very
but
good.
not like the Nick Fuentes America first,
Well,
like
no,
putting America first in
obviously
every
I'm not
society.
talking about that.
Sure,
It's not what I'm talking about.
sure. Continue.
Point being, when we talk about immigration in this country, you think about people like you, right? That were born from immigrants, or that were born from, from parents that were born here, and whatever. You can go on and on.
Sure, we can reference the child of immigrants, but immigrants themselves as well. People who come in here via whatever means, green card holders, asylum seekers, right? Those are also going to be immigrants, undocumented immigrants. Those are the people that I'm referring to as well. Yeah, but what's your point?
Okay, so do you put asylum seekers on the same level as second generation immigrants such as yourself?
I think that they're a value to American society. Yes.
Yeah, but do you put them on the same level as yourself?
Yeah, sure.
Really?
Yeah, they're people. They're in
So do you put
America.
undocumented immigrants on the same level of yourself as well? I mean,
Sure. Why? How are they below me? How so?
well,
Because
because
they're not here illegally. Is that the only reason?
no,
No, they're
it's not.
still
It's not
humans.
about
They're
being
still
legal
productive.
or illegal. No,
Sure.
no.
So then how are they below me? Why should I put myself above them?
Well, there's a simple answer: is because you have an allegiance to the United States. I would assume, right? Whereas these
How
people
so?
don't. Do you have an allegiance above the United States? I would assume not, right? You were born in the
Okay.
United
So
States.
allegiance is what makes me better than other
Yes,
people?
no, not better, above.
Above. What do you mean by above?
It means that, buddy.
Like
What
worth
don't you
more?
understand about this, bud?
Like are you saying that I'm worth more?
No, it's not that you're worth more, bro. I'm having a hard time understanding how you don't understand this.
You're just saying because I have a quote unquote allegiance
No,
to
because
America.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you had a, what do you call it? If you had a pew pew to your head, right, and you were to choose America or either of your parents' home countries, you would choose America, I assume, right?
Um, very
So
interesting question.
that's a problem. If there's an
Very interesting question. What's
no,
your point? What's
there's
your
a
question?
problem if there's an there.
Well, no. I mean,
No, no, there
are you
really
making
is.
are you trying to like make the claim that America is like the best country?
I believe that personally. I'm not
Okay,
saying
on
that
what
anyone
metric?
else has to believe that, but
On what metric do you believe America is the best country?
I think
Because we ranked what
I
67th
think it's quite
on the press
obvious.
index for free press. We ranked 67th. Right, we've
Yeah,
gone down
it's
four
not. Yeah,
places.
but honestly, that's not the truth, right?
That
So
is
I
the
mean,
truth.
that's
Yes, it is.
no, that is not the truth because
So then, on what metric are we better?
who ranks above us on free press metrics? Because
Literally like 50 other countries.
yeah, but guess what? You know what? None of those countries have near the problems that we deal with when it comes to the press, right? And you can look at
So on
one
what metric
single
are we
company.
better than any other
You
country?
can look at X. Does X suppress free speech whatsoever?
I haven't done like a deep dive.
Of
I would
course
argue
you haven't, because it
I
doesn't
don't really
support
care
your
about
narrative,
I
man.
don't care about X. But I would argue yes.
Of course you
I feel like
don't.
every social media does
Of course you
silence
don't.
some individuals. But that's
Yeah,
not
but
going to be
you're
like on the
wrong
government.
though,
That's gonna
man. Like
hold on.
the numbers
So
that
that's
you're
not going to be on the
speaking
government.
of
That's going to be on
was
the
like 5 years ago.
yeah. So
So
that's not going to be on the government. That's going to be on the like social media app themselves and the owners of that app or the creators of that app.
yeah,
That's
but
not really
that is
anything
the
to do with the
truth,
government.
man.
But what does
That's
this
just
have
the
anything?
truth.
You're trying to prove to me what metric is America better than any other country, based on what metric? Because you made that claim, you believe that. So based on what metric is America better? Because
Listen,
there I said press, we're
you can
not
find
better.
a country that is better in any single metric, right? I'm not denying that. All
So then,
right.
on what metric are we better, or why do you believe we're better?
As a whole, we have a better democracy than any other country on the
That's not
face of the
true.
earth. Yeah, okay. So, and how would you refute that?
I can point you to multiple other democracies across the world
All right,
that
yeah,
are
and
performing
I
better than we
listen.
are now.
If you're gonna be this little tool bag kind of little piece of shit, I have no interest in engaging with you,
On
honestly.
what metric is like, are we a good democracy when President Donald Trump is violating the Constitution, undermining checks and balances? right? I would argue that during Biden's term,
You
sure,
keep
like we
saying
were a
this
pretty
shit.
good, we were a
Listen,
pretty good
I
democracy.
listen to
But
you
like
like
right now,
every couple
right now we're
days.
heading right now we're heading into like what Hungary was going through, like an illiberal democracy, which is not which is a form of
You think we're
democracy, but it's
heading
not
into
really
what Hungary
democracy.
was? Okay, okay,
Yes, we're heading towards an illiberal democracy. Do you know what an illiberal democracy is?
okay, sure. Yeah, yeah, sure. If that's your prerogative, man, I mean,
I mean, prove me wrong.
you're just out of your
Our
mind.
democracy since
Listen, I
January
don't
6th has been
have to prove
deteriorated.
you wrong, though,
So
bro.
then
That's the
I'm
thing.
right.
You're out of your mind. That's the truth. You're just out of your mind, unfortunately.
You're
That's
not
the truth.
giving me an argument. That's an ad hom. That's not an argument.
Because you just said that we. Oh my
Also,
lord.
Norway, New Zealand, and Sweden, Iceland, and Finland
And how irrelevant
are
are they to
widely
the world
recognized as the
market,
best
man?
democracies in the world.
How irrelevant is Norway, Sweden, and Denmark?
They're pretty
How
relevant because they have good
irrelevant are
healthcare.
they?
They have good healthcare. They have a good
Yes,
taxation
and they're
system. They have a good
tiny
democracy.
ass. They're
They have literally
it's like
top press.
three.
They have the best
Oh
press in the
my
world, quite
god!
frankly, like never seen
Like
before.
saying, "Oh yeah, New Jersey 1, New Jersey 2, and New Jersey 3." It's like, okay, great, wow, you have 3 New
Norway,
Jerseys.
New Zealand, and Sweden, and Iceland, and Finland are all different countries.
Yeah, and they're all smaller than New Jersey. I mean, how fucking ridiculous
What
is
does that
this?
have anything to
Come
do
on.
with the claim that I
The
made on
point
what
is,
metric?
it's so
On
ridiculous to
you have failed to name
compare those countries
the only
to the
metric
United
that you
States of America, bro.
the only metric that you named that were like better is going to be democracy, but I proved that wrong via the Democracy Index that ranks Norway, New Zealand, Sweden, Iceland, Finland as the top democracies in the world with the best democracies. So that on that point you're wrong. So on what aspect are we better than other countries? Name one aspect.
All right, how about economic mobility?
Economic mobility, Sweden, Norway, and Nordic countries like Finland, Iceland are better. That's based
Oh,
on
so
the
just
economic
every
index.
Nordic country is better. Okay.
Yes, literally on
So
press.
it's so
On the press,
interesting, man.
Nordic countries are better. Democracies, Nordic countries are better.
Okay.
Economic mobility, Nordic countries are better.
Because
Healthcare, Nordic
because hold
Nordic
on,
countries
hold
are
on.
better.
Because you can get from the 30th percentile to the 70th percentile way easier than you can in the US, right? That's very different than saying
But that just proves my
economic
point.
mobility,
That
right?
just proves my point. Like
No, it
literally on
doesn't.
no
It
aspect,
proves that the
America is
30th
better.
percentile and the 70th percentile are so much closer in Nordic countries and Slavic countries than they are in the United States, right?
One more
So
time.
stop this fucking stupid like
But you failed to provide me what aspect is America
bullshit.
better on. Economic mobility, we're not better at that. Our economy is
All
in
right,
the shitter right now.
Have you ever considered leaving?
Have you ever considered leaving? No, I want to progress America and make America better. I want to make
No,
America
you
great.
want to
It's never been
regress
great, but I do
America.
want to make America
Make
great.
America more socialist. That is what you want.
No,
actually.
progressive. I'm not a socialist.
No, you want to make America more social. I mean,
No, I don't. Can you define
let's be
socialism?
real. Let's be real.
No.
It's about the
So on what
redistribution of wealth,
aspect
man.
is America better on? Can you please tell me? Because it's not press, economic mobility, not like our democracy.
So do you honestly believe? All right, let me ask you this without this nonsense questions that you have all the answers to. Let me ask you this: if you could just teleport yourself to somewhere inside of the Slavic or Nordic countries, would you do so?
Oh, it depends. Like if I were to like stay there for a long time.
No,
I don't
no,
really.
I'm just asking you. Like,
It's a very
you
interesting.
would have
Like
to give up. You would have to give up your U.S. citizenship, and you would take citizenship of some Nordic country. Would you do that or no? Of course not.
Well, no, that's
right?
a
So
really
stop
difficult
that
question.
shit.
Hold on. Can I answer the question? I would
Please.
feel like I would feel like the answer is going to be probably no because I don't like change. I wouldn't even leave my state.
Forget about change. Forget about that.
I wouldn't even like leave my city or my state, right?
Forget
Let
about
alone
that.
because like I grew up in
Forget
like
about
my
that.
and I grew up in my city, right? I've never thought about leaving my city or state, right? So
All right,
the
all right,
idea of me
let's-
leaving my
let's-
country,
let's
so
give you a
that's
hypothetical.
the reason why I would say no. But not
Let's give
it's
you a
not because
hypothetical.
I do
Hold
like
on,
those
hold
Nordic
on.
countries.
Let's give you a hypothetical. If
Sure.
you were to leave your city and you would be placed in any city in the United States or be placed in any city in any Nordic country, major cities, right? Would you take that deal?
Again, I wouldn't want to leave my city as much as I hate it. I wouldn't want to
Forget
leave it.
that. That's what I'm saying. We're talking about a hypothetical.
Okay, what's
So-
the hypothetical?
Would you want to be placed in a random large city in the US or a random large city in the Nordic countries?
Nordic countries.
Very good. Then I think you should go.
No, 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 because I want to make America great. I want to
No,
make
you
America
don't. No,
better.
you
I do.
don't. You want to
I want to
shit on
make
people.
America like
That's
the
the
Nordic
truth.
countries with good
No,
economic
listen.
mobility,
Yeah,
with good free
exactly. But
press,
buddy,
and with
buddy,
good
that's
healthcare, and with a
that's
good
not the point of
democracy.
America, bro.
America isn't about free press. America isn't about economic mobility, and America isn't about democracy. That's what you just said. America isn't about that. Then what is
Yeah, it's
America?
about all of that. That's the thing.
Okay, so then when I said I want to make America like these Nordic countries in reference to their free press, in reference to their economic mobility, their healthcare, and their democracies, then yes, you agree with me. I want to make America like these Nordic countries in those
what does
aspects.
healthcare have to do with United States? Tell me.
We have a horrible healthcare system, and Nordic countries have a better healthcare system. I mean, shit, even Canada has a better healthcare
That
system.
may be true, but that's not the ethos of America, right?
Well, no shit, but that's why 50,000 people die every year in America. Because of the lack of
Very
access
good.
to
Well,
preventative health care.
how many of those are on drugs? Please tell me.
No, it's not about drugs. It's about preventative health care. That's why you should have listened.
Oh, exactly.
Preventative health care. People that should have gotten preventative health care but didn't died. 50,000 a year. And yes,
Sure.
we have a big drug problem. Absolutely. I'm not denying that. That's why we need progressive policies.
how do you
We need
think that-
progressive
This is the
policies to
thing,
counter
man.
this.
This is the thing. How do you expect to counter the actual American ethos? How do you think that you
What is American? What is the American ethos?
you know it's so unbelievable you even asked this question. It's about providing for yourself,
Okay.
small government, right? States'
Yeah,
rights,
Sure.
right? So here are the
States'
things
rights,
that,
providing for yourself. What does that have anything? How do I contradict myself when I say I want to become like these Nordic countries that have a good healthcare system? good
because you want to have a
democracies?
nationalized healthcare system. I'm not talking about nationalized healthcare systems.
Okay, why
So
is
that's
why is like free
completely out of
healthcare?
the
Why is like
realm.
free healthcare for everyone wrong?
Yes,
Why? It wasn't a yes or no question. It was a why. Why or why not? Why is it wrong?
because it literally goes against American ethos.
Smaller
If you don't
government.
understand
I
that,
would argue
you-
that I would argue that like the ethos of America could be smaller government in reference to like a smaller military budget. Sure, like we should cut our
in
military
reference
budget in
to a
half.
small federal
we should
budget.
like cut our military budget in half.
If
Sure.
California,
We should like
listen,
we should
buddy.
like
Listen, buddy.
Sure, continue. Go
if
ahead.
if
interrupt me.
California wants to create, because listen, they have the fourth largest economy in the entire world, right?
Yeah,
So
liberals do
if
that.
they want to have a free healthcare society for their entire state, go ahead and do it.
Sure.
Why does it have to be
We should
the
do it at a
entire?
federal level.
But why?
To save American lives in the Constitution, it says life,
Yeah.
liberty,
So
and
how
pursuit of
stupid
happiness.
does that
The
sound?
government, the government was made to protect
All right,
Americans.
listen, bro. You're
Right? The
are
Constitution
you
says
are you
life,
going,
liberty, and
are you
pursuit of
going to
happiness.
college or no?
I am, yes.
Where are you going?
Can you like argue what I said first? I
No,
don't
no. I
know.
mean, where are you going? Just an answer.
Why are you asking me like questions about my personal life? This is like the sixth or seventh question that you asked me within like the last 10 minutes.
Question? Am I asking you a
I
question?
misspoke. Question.
Is it a
I misspoke.
question?
Question.
Okay.
Sure. So can you
Alright.
address what I said? Like, how is a healthcare system going to be bad, right? When it would save lives, and that's what the Constitution was made
Because
for.
it's
That's why the
against the
government was made
American
for.
ethos, right?
Okay, clearly it's
What
not.
do you understand about that?
So is part of the American ethos
in
like,
the
is part of the
same
American
way,
ethos
buddy.
like the Constitution?
In the same way that they want to restrict gun rights across the entire United States, right? And that's a state's issue. In the same way we talk about
It should be a
abortion.
state's issue.
So all of
Is
these
people
things should be
dying a
state
state's
issue.
issue? Is people dying a state's issue or a federal issue?
It's a state issue, man.
A state issue? People dying?
Because
So
you can
so
just
hold on. So
read.
murder.
What don't
So
you
murder should
understand?
be left up to the states, right?
What did you say?
Murder should be left up to the states.
Well, no, that's defined within the Constitution.
But people dying is you said it's a state's issue.
What?
Sorry, I forgot the word. People dying. You said that's a state's issue, right? People who
What
get
about-
murdered, they
about
die. Why is that not a state's issue under your worldview?
And what people dying? What are you talking about?
Like due to guns, gun violence.
No, that's a
There's like
state
what
issue.
120. Okay, people dying is going to be a state's issue, but like murder is going to be a federal issue. Why? Well, like in both instances, people are dying. Why?
Capital murder is a state issue. That's different, though.
Okay, sure. So this argument that you're providing about like gun access or gun restriction, sure. What's your point with this? This doesn't address anything I said about the healthcare system.
It does.
Like, the point of the Constitution, the point of the Constitution, and the point of the United States Constitution is life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. The government needs to do anything and everything to protect Americans and give them life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness at the bare minimum. That's what the Constitution was made for. That's why the government was made.
I agree with you.
So then healthcare would allow 50,000 people to live every year, right?
What are you
restricting
talking
access to
about when you
guns
say
would
this?
allow thousands and thousands and thousands of victims that eventually will die to live,
God.
right?
So do you want America to function like Europe?
Do I want? I think Europe has its flaws.
Like, do you disagree with gun rights in America or what?
I think the Second Amendment is there. It's there.
Do you disagree with it though, or what?
Do I disagree with the Second Amendment? No, I'm like pro 2A, like self-defense, sure.
Okay.
What does it have anything to do with that? What I just said?
Because you just said, oh well, it should be a national issue, and we, you know,
Yeah,
would
at
save
the federal
50,000
level, we should
lives a
restrict
year.
access to guns.
Exactly. So you don't really respect the 2A. So
Well,
I
I
mean,
mean, what does the Second Amendment say? The right for militias, right?
that's the truth, and that's actually been protested in many states at this point. And where I am in New
Let's
York,
read what the
it's
Second
been
Amendment actually
protested,
says.
yeah. Oh my.
A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Mhm.
Would you argue that the National Guard is going to be the state's militia? Yes or no?
Yes, that's essentially.
So
the
then that's
state's
what the Second Amendment is like stating, right?
Yeah,
if you want
but,
to go
but
like
when,
on
when they're
what the founding
regulated,
fathers say,
that becomes an issue. So
on what like the founding fathers in the original meaning of the Second Amendment says, you can also look at like what was debated in Congress back when the Second Amendment was written, right? But at the end of the day, we should restrict access to guns because the guns that exist now, or weapons that exist now, didn't exist prior. Right, like the argument here would be like an individual shouldn't have access. An individual shouldn't have access. Like Elon Musk, for example, he shouldn't be able to purchase a nuclear bomb, right?
Shut up.
Should
Should
Elon Musk be able?
He shouldn't be able to launch a rocket anyway.
Should Elon Musk be able to purchase a nuclear bomb?
Should he be able to launch a rocket or no?
I'm asking you a question. Should he be able to like own a nuclear bomb as a private citizen? Yes or no?
Wow.
No, but wouldn't that infringe on the Second Amendment under your worldview?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, there's some arbitrary thing where you have to draw a line.
Bro,
right?
people not being able to legally own nuclear bombs does not infringe on people's Second Amendment.
Yeah. What about rocket launchers, or what about
what about rocket launchers?
What about hold on? What about you? You just mentioned Elon. So what about him?
Because he's
owning,
going to be
what
about
about
to be a
him? What about
trillionaire.
him owning literally an ICBM type times 10? I mean, let's be
Sure.
real about this thing. So,
To
I
which
mean,
point?
he had you. If he wanted to do something nefarious, he could, like next week. So let's be real about this.
I think there's going to be like regulations in like every aspect of like what these
Exactly,
billionaires
but you,
and, like,
you think
almost billionaires
someone
are
with
doing.
$1 trillion actually cares about regulations? If he wanted to do something nefarious, he could do it within 10 days.
I think
guarantee you.
Elon Musk should not be legally allowed to build to own a nuclear bomb.
And so you're stupid. Well, no, not
What?
about a nuclear bomb. Not about a nuclear bomb. That's not what I'm saying. But he owns the technology that is required to deploy one. That's the hard part.
Sure.
The
When did I
easy
say I
part
agree
is
with
actually securing a nuclear bomb.
that? When did I say I agree with like whatever Elon Musk is doing with like his rockets?
Well,
or
I'm
whatever?
saying, do you disagree with it, or
What
what?
does that have anything to do with the conversation
Do you
about like the
disagree with
Second
it?
Amendment?
That
We're talking
has
about
to
like
do
the
with
ability to
Second
own
Amendment,
like
yeah.
nuclear bombs and like weapons, right?
Listen, buddy. I honestly, you're such a child. I can't even.
I'm a child. Yeah, I've cooked you on every single topic.
You haven't cooked me on anything.
Name
All
one
you've
point that
cooked
you
is-
beat
is
me
some.
on.
You've cooked some barbacoa. That's it, bro.
Yeah, that shit's fire. Can you name me one point that you beat me on?
Dude, listen. You've just moved from point to point to point. That's the thing.
You're the one that's moving from point to point to point. I was talking
What
about
do
the
you- what
Nordic
do you wanna
countries,
speak
and then
on?
you asked me
Because
about American
the only
ethos.
thing that you actually have is, why do you support Trump?
I've
He's
literally
friends with
talked to
Jeffrey
you about
Epstein.
things. I've talked to you. Guess what? This
stupid is
conversation,
that?
I haven't mentioned Trump. I've mentioned Trump once. in reference to democracies once. This entire conversation, about 15 minutes
All
so
right. So
far,
what do you
has been
what do you
everything
think that
but
what do you
Trump.
think your best point is? Say.
On what? On Trump or on what?
No, on anything we feel most confident on.
I mean, my strongest point is probably going to be like immigration, like why a mass amnesty is preferable compared to like mass deportation.
That's
I
the
feel like that's what
easiest fucking thing, dude. You
I feel
sound
like
like an idiot if
I'm
you
well
say
knowledge
that.
on that. I feel like I'm well knowledge on a couple different points as well.
Are you fucking kidding me?
But I like debating
so,
on immigration.
So you honestly prefer mass amnesty as opposed to mass deportation?
Yes.
Yeah, so you're crazy, bro.
Yep. Okay, that's an ad hom.
Well,
Prove
no,
me
so,
wrong.
so you're
Why am I
insane.
wrong?
So here's the thing, right?
Sure.
Do you believe that over the last previous to Trump taking office,
Sure.
the 4 years prior to that the immigration policy was fair? Do you believe that?
No.
Right. It wasn't fair, right? Everyone knows that. Okay. So it was unfair. So a lot of people got in here unfairly, and as is my fiance. So she got in here unfairly, and I'm not even going to deny that. She got in here, she scammed the US government. And just like a lot of other Russians, all right? So that being said, I know how this whole thing works.
Okay, what's your point? How does that prove
My
that mass
point
amnesty is not preferable and mass deportation is preferable? You said your girlfriend was here illegally, you said?
No, she entered under asylum.
Okay. Sure, what's your point?
Falsely under asylum, but
Do you
she
think she
entered
should have
under
been deported?
asylum, which is legal.
Do you think she should have been deported?
Of course.
Yo, what?
What do you
think your girlfriend should have been deported?
And what do you think? What do you think? I'm like some I'm an all holy guy? No.
I would rather you be a hypocrite than advocate for your girlfriend to be deported.
I'm not advocating. I'm advocating.
You would have.
Did you advocate? Deported.
Did you advocate for your girlfriend to be deported when she should have been?
She should be right now. What do you mean?
She should be deported.
And actually, no. She still has another year under the law. And this is the thing. This is all under Biden,
Hold on.
bro.
Should your girlfriend be deported? Yes or no?
Yes. What's so funny about that?
Because you're saying your significant other should be deported.
Why is that funny?
Because that's insane. I would never advocate for my significant other to be deported. I would never advocate for anyone to be deported.
Of course you wouldn't, because you should probably be deported, bro. So what are you saying?
Yeah, I'm here legally and I should be deported. I can see why you want your girlfriend to be deported. I can see why. Does your girlfriend know you want her to be deported?
Oh, of course. I've said this to her. I said, yeah, it's bullshit. She knows it's bullshit. That's the thing.
Then why doesn't she self-deport?
She's from Russia.
Okay, why doesn't she self-deport?
Because she's using the system just like any other reasonable person would.
Why don't you call ICE on her?
Because I'm not what kind of question is that even?
Aren't you for mass deportation, trying to get rid of every single undocumented immigrant? You should call ICE on her.
Dude, guess what? Dude, I own a business. I employ a bunch of Mexicans, dude. Do I want
Mexicans aren't undocumented immigrants. You can be Mexican.
A lot of
illegal.
Most of my employees are. So what are you talking about?
Okay, my point is are you gonna call ICE on your girlfriend?
Do you think I want to? Do you think I want to deport all my employees?
Loki, yes. Would you care if your girlfriend was deported?
Absolutely. But I know it won't happen because the federal government.
Yeah, because Donald Trump doesn't fulfill his promises of mass deportation, which is a good
thing. I know
thing.
that.
Why is mass deportation preferable though compared to mass amnesty? Why is it preferable? Crazy take. But why is it preferable?
Did you just say crazy bastard? That's
crazy take. I said crazy take, wanting your girlfriend to be deported. But why is mass deportation preferable to mass amnesty?
Is it not obvious or what?
No, it's not obvious. Continue. Go ahead.
Mass deportation, in the colloquial sense, at least says that everyone who should not be here gets deported, right?
Okay, why
mass
is that
amnesty
preferable?
says that everyone that should not be here gets amnesty. What is hard to understand about that? I don't.
Why is mass deportation preferable?
You're just an idiot, man. Really?
You're not giving me an argument. You're just this is the fourth ad hom that you provided.
Are you just a retard or what?
Slur to run. You knew I was gonna kick you if you said that. So you slurred to run. Yo, wow. First off, don't slur. Second off, you're like disgusting POS slurring, and you want your girlfriend to be deported. You are not worthy of your girlfriend, or your girlfriend isn't. You're not worthy of your girlfriend. Yes, that. Yes. Moving on to the next guest. We might have to restart. These guys, you're like obsessed, right? Oh wow. He fell asleep. He's obsessed. I mean, yeah, that guy was insane. That guy was insane. Tell you what, guys, there's 16 people in here. Come back. Okay? I'm gonna hit a restart so we can get more push. I don't know why at the beginning of the stream I didn't get push. Crazy take, by the way. What's up, YouTube? As you guys are starting to, I mean, you guys have been starting to load up in, so I appreciate every single one of you guys. Make sure to hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe if you haven't already, repost the live, share the live, do all the wonderful things if you're over here on TikTok. Welcome back. This is the restart. We're looking for some debates. If you're a Trump supporter, if you think men are better at leading than women, or you think it's wrong to be gay, join up in the guest box. There are quite a lot of people over on YouTube. Make sure to hit that thumbs up right now. Make sure to join up in TikTok. If you click on the link tree, you want to debate me, come over to TikTok. I'll put a poll right now on YouTube. Make sure you guys vote in that poll. If I can spell, holy moly. Make sure to go vote in that poll right now. If you guys want to support this live stream, the best way you could do so is clicking on the link tree in the description of the YouTube live stream. Once you click on it, you can find my TikTok. If you want to debate me, the TikTok icon. You can find the Buy Me a Coffee link, Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, as well as my Facebook, YouTube, my Spotify, which I haven't released any episodes on, my Threads, which I update every single day, Blue Sky, Substack, Instagram, X, and my Discord server. Those are all in the link tree. If you guys want to support, the best way you can do so is join other communities, right? Which are in my link tree, or the Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, or the Buy Me a Coffee link. The goal tonight is going to be $20. $1. You know, there's 20 people over there. If each of you send $1, that would mean we meet our goal, and it would mean that these streams are much easier to do, right? And then we can do improvements and all that good stuff, investments. So make sure you guys check that out if you would like to. And if you're over here on TikTok, as always, run up in the guest box. I'd love to talk to you, love to debate with you, love to have a conversation with you tonight. And if you guys do send $1 through any of those, you can attach a message and I will read it out loud, both to TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch. What's up, Twitch? There's no one over there though. So, quite frankly, see what YouTube chat has been saying. Colin knows nothing. These Maggies are crazy. Typical uneducated MAGA PIG. Yeah, that's YouTube chat is low key a W for once. If Trump hadn't won his election, Epstein would have probably still been active. Trump is the greatest president ever. Matthew, come over here on TikTok and debate me right now. Do it right now, quite frankly, right now. How's it going, TikTok? We are looking for some debates. Make sure you guys are double tapping that phone screen. Opinion on neo-libertarian phalangism? Like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. Okay. Let's let the first guest up for the after the restart. Make sure you guys are following if you haven't already. I post about the news every single day. Check out my threads. Right, that's the easiest way to update on the news. How's it going, man? What do you want to talk about?
Hello?
Yeah, how old are you?
Just fucking 24.
All right, what do you want to talk about?
Why are you a goy?
Yeah, buddy. Are you like? How many brain cells do you have?
Why are you a goy?
One max. One brain cell max. You support Trump because you like men. I see no correlation, but okay. I'll call in and debate you. Sure, Matthew. TikTok icon linked in the bio. What a failure, someone says. Sure. What an argument. That last guess was insane, by the way. No. Advocating to deport his girlfriend is crazy. Crazy take. Crazy take. Trump is too liberal for me? Yeah. I'm sure, buddy. What country are you in? Let's take a wild guess, okay? Let's take a huge guess. Let's take a wild guess. What is up with like TikTok comment section right now? There's almost 20 of you in here. Join up in the guest box if you support Trump. I wanted to find his girlfriend. You said it won't happen, but yeah, I have no idea. Someone said you're so gay you hate Trump. What? You guys support Trump? Join up in the guest box. Yo, my mods are working overtime right now. W mods. I did not mean to click end. Whoopsies, I almost ended.
Dude, what the fuck is going on in your comment section?
I have no idea. Y'all are working overtime. Bro, you should have seen that. You should have seen that last guest that was on here. He said he wanted to deport his girlfriend. Crazy take.
Dude, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, if you want to debate, join up in the guest box. I'd love to talk to you, love to debate with you, love to have a conversation with you tonight, as always. We are looking for some people to debate. I support him as a whole, but some of the shit he's done is infuriating, to be honest. Okay, that's not good. What does that say? How's it going?
What's going on?
Are you driving?
I have a hands-free Bluetooth device.
There's like a lot of background noise. Is there any way you could like take me off Bluetooth?
Would it help if I muted in between speaking?
Tell you what. No, you should not be on the phone while driving. I'm not gonna encourage that. Nothing against you in specific, but also it's TikTok terms of service, and I don't know if they'd like the noise of it, like TikTok
Dude.
AI would notice. I just like don't want to risk it, and your safety is a priority,
And other people's safety.
and other people's safety, and everyone's
Someone in the
safety.
comment section said neo-libertarian phalangism or tung sahur accelerationist.
Yeah, buddy, tung Sahur accelerationism is better than neo-libertarian phalangism. Neo-libertarian phalangism is like a 5, 6 out of 7, and tung Sahur acceleration is like a 6 out of 7, like 6, 7.
First in your bloodline to ever say that.
Oh, buddy. If you support Trump, join him in the guest box. I'd love to talk to you, love to debate. He's still your president? No, he's not. Make sure to join up in the guest box. I'd love to talk to you, love to debate with you, love to have a conversation with you tonight. As always, we are looking for some debates. City boy, you're gonna get banned. He said he's using hands free. Still, TikTok won't let you drive while being on live stream. That's just like something that TikTok does. What's up? I don't support Trump. WU, I guess. If you're American, he's your president. Nuh-uh. Prove me wrong.
Wrong your, by the way.
Nuh-uh. Just because Democrats, yo. What is my YouTube comment doing?
What is both of your comment sections doing?
Vance Trump 2028. Trump can't run as VP since he would be ineligible to run as president, meaning he's also ineligible to run as VP. So, sorry, buddy. Trump can't run as VP and then, JD drop out. He can't do that. You forgot the apostrophe. Whole
I love
administration,
being
get
the
rid of
grammar
them.
police.
Yeah, get rid of the whole administration.
Hi, Maya.
Massey who? I don't know who that is. Also, like, no, I don't agree with, like, Massey. His, like, political views. I mean, I think he's, like, a genuine Republican, but I don't agree with him.
Change the constitution and Zoran Mamdani run for president. Sorry.
Trump
Ooh.
Vance 2028.
Ooh,
enact
okay, I'm gonna
martial
get
law.
canceled.
Yo, buddy, enact martial law, and you want Trump to run for, like, a third term? Crazy work. This dude has toes in his name.
It's a girl.
Yo, what?
Talking about Maya.
Yeah, I know. Mods, can we ban that real quick?
No. First of all, can't mute mods.
Also, do you have Republican friends? Like I like that I talk to frequently. No, I don't. Like, no, not really. Like, I talk to, like, some people that are, like, independent. And most of the people that, like, I talk to are, like, pretty good people. The goat of debates. When it rains in Spain, it's mainly on the plane. Shakespeare? I requested.
Shakespeare is in fact dead.
Hello?
Yeah, how old are you?
19.
What
I
year were
don't
you born in?
support him. 2007. January.
What do you want to talk about?
I was gonna say, the people who do support him, it drives me crazy because every single time I bring up the fact, if I'm a woman with 24 felony convictions against me, would you say I should be president? And every single time they say no. And I'm like, bro, so what the fuck? I'm like, bro, look, I'm not even trying to be rude, but, like, I feel like they would genuinely elect a black transgender woman before they would elect any type of woman. And that's not saying the transgender women aren't women, but I'm saying they would elect any different type of woman before they'd elect a woman with a uterus. That's truly what I believe. I don't think I'm going to see a woman president in my lifetime. I don't think, genuinely.
I don't think they'd elect a trans woman.
Yeah, I would push back
especially
on
not a
that.
black trans
No,
woman.
I don't think they would, but they'd elect it before. A
No.
woman will not be president. I'm
Not a-
sorry to say it. I hate to say it because I want a woman to be president.
A black trans woman would be less likely
Baby,
to be
a
elected
black
than
man has already became president. A black trans woman will become president before a white woman will. That's my point.
No.
No, I do fully believe that.
Black trans women are really
Because at the end of the day,
are
they would
extremely oppressed. You
they
do know
would
this.
take
They're,
I
they're
agree
victims
with you.
of
I agree
extreme
with
violent
you.
crimes.
But they
or
would
that they're
take
not
away
going
that
to get
woman's
elected.
identity and they would turn her into a man is my point. They would take away her real identity and they would say, "Oh, she's just masking this to do whatever." I'm saying
I don't think, like, the right whatever vote for, like, a trans individual, especially, like,
I
like a
think
person
that
of color.
a black trans woman will become president before a woman, period, does. I don't think that the country of America
That would
will
be a woman.
ever accept a woman with a uterus with periods as their president in my lifetime, at least.
again,
No.
like,
They are
especially,
way
like, the
more-
right.
So
So
y'all
they're
can
way more-
disagree. Y'all can disagree. That's fine. But you
They're
can't
way
say,
more likely-
okay, no.
So I'm going to explain. So they're way more likely to elect a cis woman, not a trans woman.
But it's not going to happen, is my point.
Okay, you can say that it's not going to happen, but saying that they're more likely
Yeah, they
to
are.
elect a black trans woman
Yeah.
than a cis woman.
Yeah.
No.
Fully.
No,
fully.
you saying that they would take away her identity, that's a reason why they wouldn't vote for her. Her being
I'm not saying that
would
she
be a
would
reason
even
that
be elected. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that she'd be elected before any woman with a uterus. I'm not saying she'd be elected in my lifetime. I'm not saying that she'd be elected, I'm just saying in general, she'd be elected before a woman with a uterus.
Especially when it comes to the right, it's like demonizing minorities. I mean, take a look at Obama.
But
like,
yet,
hold on.
was elected as
Yeah,
president.
but take a look at Obama. They looked at Obama as like devil 2.0, right? And as soon as a white man,
But he
Donald
was
Trump got
elected, is the point.
But the point is, as soon as Donald Trump got into office, a white man dismantled everything Obama did, or attempted to dismantle what he did, the JCPOA, Obama.
I completely agree.
Etc. Right. So the point is here that, like, when it comes to the right, especially now in this political climate, right, there's a difference between like Republicans pre 2016 and then post 2016, where you have like MAGA Republicans, and then after January 6th as well, like pre January 6th and then post January 6th. There's a difference. I don't think like MAGA Republicans are never they're never going to elect a minority.
I do just want to bring up, I know that you're saying pre 2016, post 2016, the abortion right didn't get overturned until 2022 for a reason. That's because Supreme Court, and I don't know if you know how this works, it's fine if you don't. Supreme Court is not based on the president, it's based on whatever Republic parties get won for that type of vote. So, for example, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, before her, it was 90% were agreeing, yes, this person should be Supreme Court justice. After her, it started turning into 50-50. Why do you think that was? Because it was black people, because it was people of other cultures. But even we could put the black man who was elected before Ruth Bader Ginsburg, he got a 90% vote. All I'm saying is America has turned more red than ever. All right. There's a reason why Roe v. Wade wasn't overturned in 2016. It's because the Supreme Court still had a hold of itself.
Sure, you can make an argument. Hold on. I'm not disagreeing like with your argument.
Well, you're going to say hold on, but you're kind of interrupting me
because you're just making an argument that I'm not arguing about. You're saying like it's like I guess how I would frame it is like post.
No, I'm explaining why a black trans woman would be president before any other person. I'm explaining that.
You just said that America has turned more red, and that's like I'm not arguing that.
Yes, like that's my point. Is I'm saying that they would. Okay, Red America does not think trans women is women. They don't think that trans women are women, is my point. They think that trans women are men. So they would elect. Unfortunately, they think that. I don't agree with
them. They're pedophiles.
They
demonize them.
They demonize them and call them pedophiles. They think that trans women are men. They say that they're just cosplaying.
Yes,
they
think
would elect
they
a
think
trans
women
black
are
woman before a white woman.
They think trans women are men, but they also call them pedophiles.
And mentally ill and all this other shit. They demonize the fuck out of trans.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's even worse that they call them all those things and they would still elect them over
no evidence
for
that. You have no evidence for that claim. What you're saying here is absolutely absurd.
I don't. This is my opinion. This is what I'm saying. I don't support Trump. This is my opinion. I've never claimed it. This is my opinion.
Okay, that's an absurd opinion to think that like the right is
You can think that, but I've debated with many other people who can let me finish my point. Like, I'm not trying to be rude, bro, but you've interrupted me at every single argument that I've tried to bring up. When they let me finish my point, they get it. So I'm gonna dip out because you obviously cannot understand an intellectual. But you have a good night.
Sure. I mean, if you, I feel like the point that you were going in circles. Like, what point were you trying to make? I mean, you said your point that like you think the right would elect a black trans woman before like a cis woman. You said your point. We just continued to repeat that point over and over again. Even when we like provided evidence on how that's false and how the right attacks minorities, right? And in this political climate, the right would never, or the MAGA Republicans would never like vote for a minority. I'm confused. But moving on to the next guest.
Also, if you look into like political science, political like polling, all that stuff, no, America is not going to the right, actually. If you actually look into political polling, there is a growing amount of moderates, independents in America. That's been a trend. They switch who they vote for depending on election to election, just because a majority of people voted for the right in this specific election
Hitler,
does not mean that is their underlying ideology for the whole aspect forever and ever. No, that they are moderate. They switch depending on candidate to candidate. Okay. If you're taking this is like intro to poli sci. You look at these polls. Okay.
I'm just like confused on what the point of that was. I'm confused.
And then if you look at
How's it
actually right
going?
and their demographics, majority of the right is Christians. Christians would never vote for a trans woman.
How's it going?
Yeah.
That is a child.
Get out of here. If you support Trump, join him in the guest box. I'd love to talk. I'd love to have a debate. I'd love to have a conversation with you tonight. There are 35 people on here. On TikTok, if you're a Trump supporter, join up in the guest box. I'd love to talk to you. Love to have a debate. I'd love to have a conversation with you tonight. As always, we are looking for some debates. Moving on to Apple user. Okay, moving on to Mikey. Mikey, how's it going? What do you want to talk about?
Hey, how are you? No, I was just going by the prompt and everything, and listening to what Max said down below there about people switching back and forth. You know, not being so like hard pressed to just vote, say, for the left or vote for the right, no matter who they are, no matter what. I mean, honestly, I was not a big Trump supporter a few years back. I thought it was like a celebrity going for the office and everything like that, because he was not a politician. And you know, let's put it this way: he's a businessman, right? And I think no matter what, it doesn't matter who he has to be. Right? Yeah, he's been bankrupt quite a few times. I understand that, but I like his brazen attitude. I like the way that he doesn't take crap from people. And in the last election, this last election that we had, his opponent with Kamala, I mean, I going and watching debates and listening to people interview her and listening to her dance around questions that were hard questions. Donald Trump wasn't afraid to answer the question and say, hey, guess what? I don't care if it's unpopular. This is what's going to happen. Kamala Harris, she would just laugh and
he is
cackle
literally
and-
known for like not answering questions directly. I can actually provide you like so many instances. Like I
hate to say it. I mean, but Kamala Harris is just. I mean, I just didn't think she was anything impressive. I thought she was just
okay. And
just
you
the
said
way.
you like
I mean,
his
if you look
attitude,
at the
so
interviews,
you
look
said
at
you
her
like
interviews.
Okay. You want to talk about interviews? How about we like talk about like Donald Trump's interviews? How about we talk about like Donald Trump answering?
I'm
questions
listening. I'm
when it
listening
comes to the press.
Also, the thing
Right.
is, attitude shouldn't be the only thing you're basing your vote on. You should also base your vote on their policies.
So we can talk about his attitude now, because that's an insane point to bring up. But here's this.
Dana Marie McNichol, Fox
Are we
News
listening
Channel.
to something,
Mr.
or-
President, is there an expected time frame that detainees will spend here, days, weeks, months? And does that have anything to do with the immigration judges you just spoke about being trained and staffed here?
When you say, what was the first part of your question?
Is there a specific time frame you expect the detainees to spend here, days, weeks, months?
In Florida?
Yes, here at
I'm gonna
Alligator
spend- I'm going to
Alcatraz.
spend a lot. Look, this is my home state. I love it. I love your government. I love all the people around. These are all friends of mine. They know them very well. I mean, I'm not surprised that they do so well. They're great people. Ron has been a friend of mine for a long time. I feel very comfortable in the state. I'll spend a lot of time here. I went, for 4 years. I got to be in Washington, and I'm okay with it because I love the White House. I even fix up the little Oval Office. I make it. It's like a diamond. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. It wasn't maintained properly. I will tell you that. But even when it wasn't, it was still the Oval Office, so it meant a lot. But I'll spend as much time as I can here. You know, my vacation is generally here because it's convenient. I live in Palm Beach. It's my home, and I have a very nice little place, nice little cottage to stay at. Right. But we have a lot of fun, and I'm a big contributor to Florida. You know, pay a lot of tax, and a lot of people move from New York, and I don't know what New York is going to do. A lot of people move to Florida from New York, and it was for a lot of reasons, but one of them was taxes. The taxes are so high in New York, they're leaving. I don't know what New York's going to do about that, because some of the biggest, wealthiest people, and some of the people that pay the most taxes, of any people anywhere in the world, for that matter, they're moving to Florida and other places. So we're going to have to help some of these states out, I think. But thank you very much. I'll be here as much as I can. Very nice.
Yeah, what was
Yeah,
the
that's
original
one
question
incident
that
where he
asked?
didn't answer the question directly.
No, he didn't
That's like
answer the
one
question at all. What was
incident
the
where he
question?
didn't answer
What was
directly.
what was the question that he asked? What was the question that she asked? Sorry, the reporter. What was the question that the reporter asked? How much time?
He was asked about like how long. He was asked about like how long detainees were going to be in custody or something like that. And I was
He
like,
didn't mention
then he started
detainees
talking about
once.
Florida and New York and everything. See, that's what's great about
so
non.
he didn't even indirectly.
Yeah, he didn't even
answer the
mention
question.
it.
He didn't
I
answer
know.
it at all.
I hear you. That's one. Yeah, that's one thing. But we could all.
It's just not.
we could all
It's
go
not
on
just
YouTube and
one.
we could find
It is
stuff like that.
so
It's not a big
many.
deal. But
You can go to any point.
I know,
in the
I know,
debate. In
but
the
we need to have a
2020
little
in the
more,
2024
you know,
debate. You can go at
I
any
can
point
tell-
in
I
that
can-
debate, and Harris absolutely cooked Donald Trump at any point in that debate.
Concepts of a plan.
See, now that's where
Concepts of a
we can
plan?
agree to disagree on that. I think
Okay,
Kamala Harris was
concepts
an
of a plan,
absolute
you
shrewd
think-
individual who could not answer a question.
You think concepts of a plan is an answer
I
to
don't
the
know.
question?
I mean, I think that I just don't believe after hearing both of these people, Trump
Sure.
and Kamala.
How about we both?
I can't believe that there's actually.
How about we
Can
go to
I
any
finish
point?
that sentence?
How about we go to
please?
any point? Any point.
I'm going to go to this point. I can't believe that people are actually on board with Kamala when you've listened to her speak and how she talks to people and how she is. Like, not even how she talks to people, because we know how Trump talks to people. But that's why I like about not being so crazy about politics is that I can just see it for what it is. And
Hey, how about we
I
like
just-
listen to this?
I listened to her speak and she had no answers for anybody.
Yeah, how about
she
we-
cackled and laughed and she never answered anything.
Choose a time frame between a minute and an hour and 49 minutes. Choose any minute you want between that. Any minute, and I'll choose. It can go up to an hour and
Of what?
49. Any point in the
What are
in
you,
the 2024
what are you
debate.
on right now? What are you talking about?
I'm on the 2024 debate, Trump versus Harris. It's an hour and 49 minutes long. You can choose which time frame.
I don't
you
want to
me
listen to
put.
that crap again.
Which
No, I
which
lived
time
through it
frame you want
once.
me
I don't need to go through it. I'm not going to go through it.
Okay,
I'm just
well,
telling you.
I'll just play like
when
2
Trump
minutes.
told
40
everybody
42
that he was
minutes
going to
in.
bomb the hell out of Iran.
We'll just do
We did
42
it.
minutes in the 2024 debate. We'll
Listen,
just do 42
can I
minutes
say this
and-
real quick? Can I say this
Sure.
real quick? I know
Go for
43
it.
people are here. Hold on. Please don't shut me out. Hold on. When Trump said he was going to bomb the hell out of Iran because they could not have a nuclear weapon, everybody on that other side, no matter who they are, the hardcore leftists, they hate it, right? But listen, when Obama said the same thing, when Sleepy Joe said it, when President Clinton said it, when George Bush said it, everybody agreed with those guys. Everybody was all on board with it. When Reagan said it, everybody's on board with it. Trump says it, everybody's got their own personal hatred towards
we
this
shouldn't,
guy.
we shouldn't be in endless wars in the
because
Middle East.
it's
First of all-
personal. That's all it is.
We shouldn't be
First
in
of all,
endless wars
not
in the Middle
true.
East.
First of
But,
all,
like-
it's not true. People disagreed with a lot of Obama's policies. People disagreed with Biden's policies all the time.
Literally.
I'm not
People
talking about
dislike
policies.
Reagan.
I'm talking
What?
about the Iran incident.
Yes,
I'm
that's
talking about Iran.
This is a
What
policy.
did
This
Biden
is a
do
war
about Iran?
policy.
What did
It's a
Biden do
war
about
policy.
Iran?
The sound. Here's the thing about Iran that he said.
No.
Specifically
What
this
did,
word.
what? Don't run away. What did Biden
I'm
do
not
about
running.
Iran?
What did Biden say about Iran? He said that they could not have a nuclear weapon. They can't
Is that
attain
saying
one.
you're going to bomb the shit out of them? And,
Did
like,
he
do
bomb
genocide?
them?
No, he didn't bomb them. Jesus Christ,
Okay,
he was on.
okay,
He was on freaking
okay.
cruise control the entire
All
time he
right,
was
all
in the
right, all right.
presidency.
Okay, did Obama bomb Iran?
No, I don't think he did.
Oh,
Obama secured the
okay,
JCPOA.
okay.
The difference between Donald
No.
Trump, Obama, and Biden.
I don't know what you're
is
trying to
two-
do. That's no
hold
checkmate.
on. The
didn't have the
difference.
balls to
hold
do
on.
it.
Sure. You wanted to move to this point, and then we'll go back to to whether who will like answer questions. But
I see where
the
you
difference
guys are
between
going.
Obama,
So.
the difference between Obama, Biden, and Donald Trump is Obama and Biden try to work diplomatically, and Obama did. B, Donald Trump is a warmonger and he wants to pursue these wars, which is why he took us out of the JCPOA in 2018. Right? There are two completely different things. One threatens genocide, the other two don't. But let's go back to my point. We'll do 42 minutes and 40 seconds in the debate, and we'll see.
Hold on a second here.
Who
You
is
just
answering
loaded that
questions
up.
better.
Hold on a second.
Okay, go
So
ahead.
Obama was negotiating peace, yet while they were pulling the wool over America's eyes, because that's what they were doing over there in Iran,
How
they were
so?
building facilities and they were enriching uranium. They were trying to enrich
Give me
uranium.
proof.
Give me. I don't have any proof. Do you have any proof? You got no
Yes,
proof.
we have.
So,
In fact,
first-
Donald Trump is the one
but
who
we didn't
signed
bomb
it
a
off.
facility that just
Hold on,
popped up because we just wanted it
in
built one
2017,
day.
In 2017, Donald Trump signed off that Iran had not violated the JCPOA via the IAEA. He signed it off just as Obama did multiple times, multiple years. Right. So all these both presidents signed off that Iran had not violated the JCPOA. We had unprecedented levels of like security over their facilities as well, and there's no evidence at all that they violated the JCPOA in any way, shape, or form. So that point is wrong.
Okay, buddy. All I said was, why do I support Trump? Because he's got a set of brass balls and he tells you how it is.
Yeah, you said he
That's
answers
why I
questions.
like
Let's go
him.
back to this
Mikey,
point. Let's go back
hold
to
on.
this point.
Yes,
Go ahead.
ma'am. Mad Max,
Mikey.
what's up?
You support him based off of vibes. That's who you support people. Like you support
Nah,
political.
I don't even-
No, you
please don't
support
say vibes.
politicians.
You
You
just showed
support
your age.
politicians based off of vibes. That's literally all you have. You have nothing to support your claims. Anytime we've brought something to you, you said, "Oh, Iran violated it. They were pulling one on America." Blah blah blah. We asked you for proof. You said you have.
You don't
I
have
have
any
no
proof
proof.
either. You're not showing me anything. You're
We
bringing up
told you.
sound
We told you.
clips
Trump signed off
off
that
of
they
YouTube.
didn't violate the JCPOA. We had surveillance over the JCPOA. They were allowed to enrich uranium to about 3%. Okay, that is not enough for any sort of nuclear.
Yeah, and then over the years they have
Hold
done
on,
more.
Hold on, that is not enough for any sort of weapon. Okay, the minimum for a quote unquote dirty bomb is about 60% enriched uranium. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Thanks for informing me. They were going to keep going,
now
by
hold
the
on,
way.
hold on.
They were going
Then
to keep going, by
nope,
the way. And
nope,
they would have.
nope,
No, hold on.
You're no.
And
no,
you
you're not gonna
believe that they
overtalk
would
me.
not have held the world.
Okay, then when Trump pulled out of the JCPOA in 2018, that meant they are no longer held to those restrictions. They can now enrich uranium to whatever point they wish, and we have no place to say otherwise. We have no place to say otherwise because we have no agreement with them. They are a sovereign nation who can do what they wish.
That's great, Hunt.
We have no place
but
to say
if
otherwise.
you're supporting
We
that,
had an
that's
agreement.
you're insane.
We had
You
an
guys are
agreement
insane.
where
Hold on.
we had an agreement where they had restrictions and there would be consequences if they did violate those restrictions.
Right.
And then
there
Trump
should
pulled
be.
us out, and
Absolutely.
now they had no restrictions. They could enrich uranium to whatever percent they wanted to.
You're
Exactly.
saying-
And
you're
that
saying
would
there
have been the
should be.
biggest mistake of all time.
So
you
Trump,
don't understand.
Trump did the biggest mistake of all time.
No, the biggest mistake would have let Iran get an atomic bomb. That would have been the biggest mistake of all
and
time.
Donald Trump greenlit them pursuing their nuclear ambitions via getting us out of the JCPOA because once again, he even
Let me tell
signed
you
off on the
something.
fact. Hold on,
He went
even
after
signed off on
them.
the fact
He
that they were
bombed
not
their facilities
producing
over there
the-
to make
and-
sure they didn't have it.
One more time.
Those people are insane over there in the Middle East. You don't understand.
It would still be like it is the case that like if Iran had like the ability to like produce nuclear bombs and had nuclear bombs, they would never like attack any like American ally or America because they know that would be like a suicide mission, right? They know that like we would strike them back with nuclear bombs
Can
as
I-
well. I mean,
and I'm gonna
like, example,
deviate,
like
right?
North Korea. Do I agree with countries having nuclear bombs? Absolutely not. I don't think anyone should.
No,
Right?
absolutely
But
not.
like
Yeah.
America is a bully. It's either you have nuclear bombs and we don't touch you, or you don't have nuclear bombs and we bomb the fuck out of you. Right?
It
It's one
really
of those
comes
two.
up like that. I know, but you know
Yeah,
what?
It is one of those. two.
Sometimes-
So can we go back to the original point you made real quick?
Mikey, the
Sometimes,
thing,
hold on.
Mikey,
I
the
was
thing
going to
is,
jump
you're
on this.
only going back to
Hold on.
the start of Trump's presidency this time. You're
Oh,
not going
because I
back
see
to
Trump
the
here.
start of this. Iran and America have had a history for like a century almost. Okay,
Half century. Yeah.
no,
47
it's
years.
been over half a century.
Well, I thought it was since 1979 when we had the problem with,
No, it's been
No.
since 1953. Even prior to that, if you take a look
Even
at like,
better.
the actual
Even
like
another
history
reason,
of
because
the
we
history of
know-
the Middle East,
I'm
with,
going to
like,
say that
American oil
those people
companies
over
going
there,
to
they
Saudi
put,
Arabia,
they put their
and then, like, the
religions and
kingdom of
stuff
Saudi
over
Arabia, and
common
then, like,
sense, right?
these
No,
proxies being
actually,
built
that's
Yes,
not
they
what
do.
happened.
They
No,
do.
that's
They
actually-
put their religions over common
Mikey,
sense. And
Mikey.
no, listen to me when I
No,
tell you
you
this.
you don't know the history. You didn't know it went back to 1954.
If they had obtained a nuclear bomb, they think they're all going to be rewarded in heaven with 40 fucking virgins. They're crazy
Mikey,
people.
do you know what?
They
Do you
think
know
they're-
what?
they think
Do you know
this.
what happened in 1954?
Oh, geez, I don't know. Tell me.
Okay,
Inform
in
me.
1954, they had democratically elected an official who prioritized his citizens over what the UK and the US wanted. You know what that was? Oil. They decided, hey, we're going to stop being exploited by you. We're going to keep the oil, majority of the oil, for our citizens so we can use it for our citizens. We're going to stop selling it cheap to you guys because you guys have been exploiting us for years. And you know what the US did? And the UK did? They went into the country and helped coup the government and put in a new guy. Then the people hated that guy and they overthrew him in the 1970s.
Right.
And that's where we are now.
Okay, good. Okay.
So it's the US's fault
so-
that we are even in this spot now because we fucked with their democratically elected officials.
So
This
we're
is
gonna
literally-
blame
this is
Dwight
documented. Hold on,
Eisenhower in
hold on. One more point.
1954 for this.
One more point. One more point. This is like
100%.
documented. This is like well
Fine.
documented. And
The man's dead. We can do that.
Sure,
Fine.
sure. Hold on. This is like well documented, like via the CIA, and like this coup that happened in like August of 1953. So like this is well documented, right? If you know any history at all about the Middle East, you know it's American intervention is what the fuck, I can't speak. You know that it's America intervening within these countries, doing coups. Right,
do.
for whatever reason, for America's benefit, quote unquote, whether it be oil, whether it be war money, etc., etc. We don't care. Well, we, as in like the American government, the CIA doesn't care about the citizens of that nation. Doesn't care if it destabilizes that region. And it's the same thing in this aspects too. We don't care about like 174 Iranian schoolgirls dying. We don't care about like any of their citizens, right? Like if we cared about the 30,000+ citizens that were like killed by protesting from their government, right? We wouldn't be bombing a school full of children, right? So that's
See,
just
now
like
I don't even
insane
believe
for you to
that.
bring
I
up.
don't even believe that was us that did that.
It was. It literally was. It was one of our Tomahawk missiles. It's already been. There's been investigations. It was us. Now they're saying that it was for whatever reason, but it
Right,
was us.
The school was hosting, not hosting, but there were what is it? The opposition was inside the school.
No,
That's basically what it is.
no.
They didn't
It was
target
ba-
the
it was
school
based
to
on, like,
kill
bad,
kids.
It was based on bad intel. I think like 50 something miles or something. Like away was like a military site or something like that. I'm not sure in
Right.
specific, but it was a school, right? It was
So
based on
it,
bad
but
intel.
it
is what
was
this is
it
what this
was
firm is
bad
arguing.
intel. Right.
Sure,
It was
but
bad
that,
intel.
That still
it
proves
was not
that
intelligent.
it still proves that we do not care, or the government, the CIA, they do not care about these citizens, right? They only care about quote unquote benefiting America, even though this doesn't benefit America in any way, shape, or form. Now, can we please go back? You made a claim that Harris didn't answer questions, but Donald Trump did. Can I play you a clip in the 2024 debate? It's going to be a
I
random
actually
point
want
in
to go
time.
right now. I want to go work out a little bit here, and it's
You
not
don't have
for
like
anything
4
other
minutes.
than me.
You don't have 4 minutes.
I literally just got to the gym when I was getting into this with you because I was trying to tell you why I supported Trump. That's all I was trying to do. I didn't want to go down the rabbit
And
hole.
this is why you support Trump. So give me 4 minutes of your time.
This
and
is
let me
not
prove you
why I
wrong.
support Trump all the way. I just told you
right
how
now
it
we're
is.
arguing, so I'll just play the clip. I'll just play the clip, and if you leave, then you leave, and if you don't leave, then you'll leave. It's like 4
Well, I
minutes
was going to
long.
leave anyway, so
Sure,
I
then-
don't want
then
to
if
hear
you leave
the
while it's playing, then sure,
2024
go for it.
election.
But I still think that this chat deserves to know that your point is proven wrong. So here's this. If you want to,
No, there's no point when I tell you that my opinion about Donald Trump.
President Trump, thank you. I'll let you respond, Vice President Harris. Well, I think this is so
There's
rich.
no opinion.
Coming from
There's
someone
no
who has been
opinion. My opinion's
prosecuted.
not wrong. It's an opinion.
And all over the world, crime is down. All over the world, they allow terrorists. They allow.
This guy doesn't want to listen.
You know they're going to see your age.
it's literally
I
just
just
Trump
feel like
yapping.
you guys are pushing your left agenda again. You're trying to make it like Kamala was way better when she wasn't. That's all you're
Which
trying
was
to do.
clear in this election.
just killed, viciously and violently killed. And I got to know the parents and the family. They didn't fire. They should have fired all those generals, all those top people, because that was one of the most incompetently handled situations anybody has ever seen. So when somebody does a bad job, I fire him. And you take a guy like Esper. He was no good. I fired him. So he writes a book. Another one writes a book, because with me, they can write books. With nobody else can they? But they have done such a poor job, and they never fire anybody. Look at the economy. Look at the inflation. They didn't fire any of their economists. They have the same people. That's a good way not to have books written about you. But just to finish, I got more votes than any Republican in history by far. In fact, I got more votes than any sitting president in history by far.
Let me continue on immigration. It was what you wanted to talk about earlier. So let's get back to your deportation proposal that the vice president are. You say if things get out of control, you'd have undocumented.
It is much higher because of them. They allowed criminals, many millions of criminals. They allowed terrorists. They allowed common street criminals. They allowed people to come in, drug dealers to come into our country. And then now in the United States and by their countries like Venezuela, don't ever come back or we're going to kill you. Do you know that crime in Venezuela and crime in countries all over the world is way down? You know why? Because they've taken their criminals off the street and they've given them to her to put into our country. And this will be one of the greatest mistakes in history for them to allow. And I think they probably did it because they think they're going to get votes, but it's not worth it because they're destroying the fabric of our country by what they've done. There's never been anything done like this at all. They've destroyed the fabric of our country. Millions of people let in, and all over the world, crime is down all over the world except here. Crime here is up and through the roof. Despite their fraudulent statements that they made, crime in this country is through the roof. And we have a new form of crime. It's called migrant crime. And it's happening at levels that nobody thought possible.
President Trump, as you know, the FBI says overall,
Totally agree with that.
coming down in this country. But
Excuse me, the FBI defrauded. They were defrauding statements. They didn't include the worst cities. They didn't include the cities
Trump
with the
is
worst
not
crime.
wrong.
It was
He's not
fraud,
wrong, buddy.
Just like their number of 818,000
Get this guy
jobs that they
Soldier
said they
Boy
created
up
turned
there,
out to be a
number
fraud.
3. Get him up there.
Well, I think this is so rich coming from someone who has been prosecuted for national security crimes, economic crimes, election interference, has been found liable for sexual assault, and his next
Yeah,
big
let's not get on
court
top of
appearance
that-
is in
onto that
November and it's on
bullshit
criminal
story.
sentencing. And let's be
Let's
clear
not get on that.
where each person stands on the issue of what is important about respect for the rule
That
of law
E. Jean
and respect
Carroll
for law
fraud.
enforcement. The
That
former
was
vice president
bullshit.
called for defunding federal law enforcement, 45,000 agents, get this, on the day after he was arraigned on 34 felony counts. So let's talk
Which
about
was really
what is
two,
important
wasn't
in this
34.
race. It is
That's
important that we move forward, that we turn the page on this same old tired rhetoric and address the needs of the American people, address what we need to do about the housing shortage, which I have a plan for, address what we must do to support our small businesses, address bringing down the price of groceries. But frankly, the American people are exhausted with this same old tired playbook.
Jeremiah, get Soldier
So
Boy
the
up
point,
here.
the point with me playing this here, Donald Trump was attacking Harris with insane false statements. Even the host had to correct him. Crime has been down since 2022. Crime has been down in every major city, including DC. So when Donald Trump went into office and said DC is this horrible, horrible place, it's the murder capital of the world. False. Crime has been down since 2022. A, B, undocumented immigrants are multiple times less likely to commit any sort of violent crime or bad crime, so that's false, right? And C, she actually talked about the American people and the average American citizen, right? And actually proved how a criminal wouldn't be good for a crime, and we're seeing that right now. He has pardoned violent domestic terrorists, he has pardoned foreign domestic terrorists, and he is considering pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell. He said that a couple months ago, and all these insane other things, corruption with foreign governments as well, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Russia, with the Trump family, with Saudi Arabia and all these different foreign countries.
I
the
really hope you weren't
corruption and
bringing up the
crimes is
January
insane.
6th people that he pardoned. I really hope you're not talking about that when those people took in their own hands and did whatever they wanted to do. He had nothing to do with that BS. Give me a break.
Yeah, if he didn't have anything to do with it, if he wasn't okay with a crime, why did he pardon them? If he
Because
was
they got
not okay
jailed
with
for
the crime,
stupid ass
why did he
reasons because
pardon
they went in
them?
the Capitol.
They pled guilty to assaulting police officers. They pled
that's
guilty
on them.
to all of them.
They were put in jail because people thought that
Because
Trump
there was video
created
evidence of DJ
it was not an
Rodriguez driving a stun gun
insurrection. It
into
was
an
nothing
officer's
like
neck.
that. They took it upon themselves to do
Okay,
that with their
but
own
if he
shit.
wasn't okay with the crime, why did he pardon the criminals?
You know why? Because they got what did they get? 10 friggin' years? And
Yeah,
you know what
I think
assault
someone
is,
who
brother?
assaults a police officer should
You know
be
what
put in
assault
prison.
is?
Yes.
You know what
I think
assault is?
someone
Yes.
who attempts
Yes.
an insurrection or a coup
Nowadays,
should be
when you
held
throw a
accountable
bottle
for their
of water
action.
on somebody, that's assault. So it's a little harsh to give somebody 10 years for something minuscule.
Someone grabbing a stun gun of an officer and driving it to his neck, giving them a heart attack. Yeah, they should be put in prison for that. They should be held accountable for that. Absolutely.
But not all of these guys that were pardoned were so crazy like that and did
Why did he
extreme
pardon
things.
why did he pardon the ones that were crazy? The ones who
I don't think he did pardon the ones that were crazy. You have a list of every offense that each one did.
He pardoned DJ Rodriguez. Yes, that is a well-known fact. DJ Rodriguez was pardoned by Donald Trump. They were blanket pardons given to January 6th. In fact, he's now trying to do a slush fund of $1.8 billion of my money, your money, and everyone else's money that lives in America and that pays taxes to give to these violent criminals. He is trying to give them our money after attempting an insurrection, a coup, attempting to assassinate the vice president by threatening to hang Mike Pence, right? Threatening to unalive police officers. And now he pardons them, and he wants to give them money.
To think that somebody's
Right,
words,
for
to think that his
weaponization of the
words
government.
actually had
The
that
only
effect on
person-
people is crazy. It was
One
not
more
an
time.
insurrection.
Dude,
His words were taken out of context.
Jeremiah
People are
never
crazy.
mentioned his words, Mikey. Jeremiah never once mentioned his words in whatever.
That's why the insurrection happened, because he said something about storming the
So
Capitol.
you're saying
blah,
the
blah, blah.
insurrection did
It was
happen.
just a crazy talk that he was saying. It was something stupid.
Mikey,
Max.
Jeremiah is not putting any sort of fault on Trump for anything, why they went to the Capitol. He is saying Trump is okay with the crime because he pardoned them and he is trying to give them money, tax money from citizens.
Yeah, okay. We'll see that
After
happen. That will
pardoning
not
them.
happen, probably.
Yeah. Cause guess what?
Don't
It
worry
won't
about it.
happen because it got blocked by a judge. But guess what? Donald Trump really wants this to happen. He really wants to give his allies and the people that were domestic terrorists that stormed the Capitol on January 6th, he really wants to give them money. But guess what? Because law and order is still upheld to an extent, a judge blocked it. And guess what? He on Truth Social this morning, after the announcement that it was blocked, he crashed the fuck out going after these judges. because that's the person he is. You want to talk about his attitude, him threatening, or him calling for the execution of 6 sitting Democrats, one of them being my senators, right? Him literally using his DOJ to go after the woman he raped, right? A DOJ opened an investigation into E. Jean Carroll.
Yeah,
right?
he didn't rape
When
that
he was
lady.
able
We
to,
know that.
When
We
in
know
the
that.
in the West, you can agree innocent until proven guilty. Donald Trump was found guilty of sexual abuse. He was found guilty of forcefully penetrating E. Jean Carroll's vagina with his fingers, right? And 3 of his appeals got denied. So whatever the DOJ, it's baseless, and we know that it's innocent until proven guilty. So E. Jean Carroll is innocent until otherwise proven guilty.
The
Like,
criminal
that's why it's gonna
trial,
get
the
thrown
criminal
out because
trial
that's
that
bullshit.
it was a civil suit because there was no evidence that criminally
No, it was a
linked
civil
him to her.
civil suit. It was a civil
So
court case.
He's
because
found
of
civil
statute of
liable
limitations.
because it was defamation of character because he said something bad about
Because
her
he called her
after
a
she
liar.
made that
Yes,
false
no,
allegation.
Mikey,
Yes. So E. Jean Carroll
Max,
said
you're
that Donald
wrong.
Trump.
Stop.
E. Jean
No,
Carroll
that's
said
what
Donald
happened.
Trump raped her.
No,
Hold on,
it was
E. Jean Carroll said
two-
Donald Trump raped her, and
it
then he
was
called her a
two
liar, and then
civil
E.
court
Jean Carroll
cases.
defamed, and then E. Jean Carroll said Donald Trump defamed her, right? And then she was able to prove in a civil court case that A, yes, he did defame her, and B, yes, he did sexually abuse her via forcibly penetrating her vagina without her consent with his fingers, which is colloquially known as rape. So colloquially, he was found guilty of rape in a civil court.
Yeah, there was 2 civil cases, okay? 2 civil cases. One was for defamation and one was for sexual assault. The reason it was in civil was not because of lack of evidence, it was because of statute of limitations. Okay? You're wrong. He was found liable in both cases.
Make sure you guys are double tapping that phone screen if you haven't already. Repost the live, share the live, do all the wonderful things. Check out the link tree in the description of the bio. The best way to support is joining the community. As always, I appreciate you guys for being here. There's 57 of you in here. Make sure to follow. Make sure to follow if you haven't already. Trying to get to 10.5 thousand likes. I'm probably going to drop this guest. I've been cooking him pretty hard now. Mikey, get out of here. Moving on to the next guest. If you guys want to debate me, join up in the guest box. Not you. You also get out of here. You're a child. Leave. Moving on to the next guest.
Hey,
what do you want to talk about?
man?
What's up?
I do agree, like, with a lot of your points. Some of it, I don't know where you're getting some of the facts. Some of them, I wouldn't say are totally true.
Oh,
You gotta be in the app for me to hear you. You gotta see me for me to hear you.
Okay.
Do you support Trump?
Yes. I'm just gonna leave it at that for my personal career. I'm just gonna leave it at that. There's reasons why I support him.
he's active duty.
So my oath states that I'll serve the people of the United States and all government officials as long as they uphold their duty. And doxing or saying anything bad necessarily about the person themselves could get me in trouble, so I have to be careful what I say. But as far as with some of the stuff you're saying in the Middle East, I've been there personally. I've seen a lot of the things that you're kind of trying to defend, and some of that isn't true. Now, I don't think the Middle East is as big of a concern. Not the things we've done there are bad. I've seen some bad things happen. A lot of those were through negligence and acts of war that just, sometimes that shit just happens. I personally don't think that America itself should be in the Middle East, should ever have been in the Middle East. That's just my opinion. But who's our biggest threat, both technologically and like money-wise, would be China. Now, with the whole thing in Venezuela, China gets 30% of their oil from Venezuela. The other 70% comes from Iran. My opinion, I don't know if it's true or not, Trump basically stopped export of oil to China from Venezuela and is trying to stop oil export from Iran, because if we can get that on top of China, we'll no longer necessarily have that threat towards us.
China has still been able to get China has still been able to get ships through the Strait of Hormuz, by the way,
And then
during the blockade.
Currently, yes, you are correct.
Can I just really quickly? China is not on a war path like America. America is constantly in a war path.
Okay,
take a look at these two superpowers and you compare them.
I will say China is Taiwan. That's their biggest. That's their biggest target.
You can make an argument that they want to eventually reunify Taiwan and make it part of China, sure. Like you can like see the tension rising, the buildup rising. But that's like completely different from like what America's doing in the warpath that America's taking and the wars that
So-
America's doing all across the globe.
Right. I
And you take a
agree
look at
with
these
that
two
in
countries,
a lot of ways.
significantly different.
Here, I agree with that in a lot of ways as far as war wise. I do have a couple points to make on that. So, every single time that we create an aircraft, as far as F-35, is a perfect example. I don't know if you've seen the YZF-35 that China has created. Somehow, which wasn't supposed to happen, an F-35 crashed in Chinese waters, and they had got a hold of it for a little while and created their own aircraft. A lot of other technology that we have has gotten somehow into the Chinese hands. Now, they aren't necessarily on the warpath, like you're saying. I'll just use that term for now, that America is. But we owe them so much money, and they have started buying so much land in America. I think that they're actually trying to get to America and own America through money, through buying our land and things of that nature and getting into our government and controlling it that way. And I think what Trump is trying to do is use them buying oil from us to basically make them use our debt as collateral so that we're not in as much debt with them. I think that's the biggest move. I think you're right as far as like the missile strikes and all that stuff. I think Trump is a lot more aggressive that way. But on the other hand, the second other power that I wouldn't say we have to worry about, Russia, is also keeping them at bay. We've never had a period where Russia has shown as much respect to America because Russia is a very rough country. And Putin's very
Sorry.
aggressive.
Do you know Russia does not see Trump as a threat or respects him in any sense?
Oh, no, Putin is scared to death of him.
No, he's
Putin
not.
knows that his military is not even we could literally go in with 3 brigades and 2
Do you
tanks.
know? Okay, Russia beats us in missiles. It's one thing. They
no,
beat us
they
in
don't.
hypersonics. They do.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
So
Do you know why? Hold up.
There's
hold up.
yeah. Hold on.
Okay, why are you? First of
No,
all,
I'm.
I
hold
think
on.
I would know more about what technological advances we'd have. I work with them daily. Not only do I have people within those regions that know the missiles, I'm not going to say anything about that as far as technologically, because a lot of that stuff is classified, and I just have friends in that I've talked to. Do you know how long it takes for their missiles to activate?
How long? Do you want to inform me?
It would take almost 12 hours for them to activate their best missiles. Ours, do you know what a Minuteman missile is? They can literally operate them and launch them within 60 seconds.
Yeah.
They
So,
will be on target
anyways,
in less than an hour.
so okay. I don't know if you know about Russia's arsenal. First of
I
all,
know
they
about
successfully
Russia's
tested.
arsenal probably better than
They
anybody.
successfully tested Satan 2. They have Poseidon. Poseidon is crazy. If you know anything about that.
I know exactly what you're talking about. And 2, I don't know if you've ever seen their testing on any of their vehicles. First of all, the Su-57, when they said they tested it, literally the Su-57 that they claimed is a 5th-gen fighter, not only is not a stealth fighter, doesn't have the same radar capabilities. Their RZ-25 missiles aren't even close to any of our fucking Fox 3s, Fox 4s, or anything air-to-air combat. And their missile guidance systems are faulty as hell. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen their missile strikes. Their missile strikes, after being calculated, are consistently anywhere from 5 to 50 miles off their target. You realize that we control space and satellites is the best way to use international world guided missiles. Russia is literally getting tanks from the Cold War era and refurbishing them to use in the war with Ukraine. They are struggling with a small country.
So they're not.
That literally they outgun. Russia's military is just not effective against the
No.
US.
So actually, that's not true. Russia's not really struggling. They were at first. They were for the first couple of years. They've actually started advancing a lot more recently in Ukraine, in the senses of Ukraine. They've gotten a lot better in the sense of intercepting different drone strikes, things like that. They launched an hold on. Why am I?
You know
blanking?
where they're getting their technology.
IRBM. They launched an IRBM.
What's an IRBM? What does IRBM stand for?
Intermediate range ballistic missile.
Okay, so you're looking up. Look, you already had it looked up. That's funny.
No.
Well, so the problem is that you're not understanding is you're not looking at the size of the force of Ukraine versus Russia, and all this new equipment that they do get, they are getting directly from China and from the Middle East. You understand that, right?
Not true.
I'm confused.
No,
What's your
it is
point?
100% true. It is 100% true. We literally just destroyed a train that had come from China and shipments that are coming from the Middle East. You realize that we had
They
Reaper
get
drones that went
materials. They get materials. Yes.
Exactly. They're getting not only tech, because, okay, I don't know if you've, why would they be using T-72s then? Do you know what a T-72 is? A T-72 MBT?
No.
A T-72 MBT is what a main battle tank. It is literally a Cold War era. They are out of T-90s. Their T-90 is like their state-of-art tank. For one, it has the same autoloader that the T-72 has, which, by the way, our tank crews reload faster by hand than their T-72 auto reloader.
Okay.
Which is a
I'm not
kerosene
saying
loader.
Russia is more advanced in every single aspect.
Well,
I'm saying they're more advanced in
they would
certain
never
aspects.
they would never be able to have a war against America that would be successful. I think you're greatly miscalculating the military effectiveness of America. I don't think you fully
I've
understand.
never
I think
said
you
they'd be
see
able to
things
win.
that
I'm just
scare
saying
you
they're not
online.
scared of Trump.
Oh,
Yeah, the
he's
point that
100%
I was
scared.
just about to like wrap this up into like the point that you were trying to make is like that they're scared of Trump, and then you like pointed to the American military. Well, wouldn't they also be like afraid of Harris in that aspect? Because like,
I
what
think
would be the
Harris would
difference?
be too. I don't think Harris has the prowess and the actual balls to actually pull something off. I feel like they would not really.
You said
be
you
scared.
don't like the warpath that America has been going on.
Also,
I don't,
Putin
but I'm
has-
just saying
has
that
repeatedly not done what Trump wants him to do, repeatedly walked all over Trump, not taken agreements for the war in Ukraine.
Right. They're their own country, and they're going to make those own decisions. They're not going to take those. It doesn't matter what president offered to them, unless they said, "Hey, we will actually destroy your fucking country," and then attack them multiple times in key strategical points. And then they'd be forced to. It doesn't matter who's
We're also
in
releasing
presidency.
sanctions on Russia and Belarus. Belarus too.
See, I don't.
Like, just can you like you're trying to make a point here, like that you said that you don't like the warpath that America's going on, but at the same time you're saying
I
that
don't
it's
necessarily agree with war at all. I think war is a waste of.
okay. So then wouldn't Harris like be preferable? Because we would still have the American military and that like presence of the American military and that threat, like you were talking about, of the American military. Like being like the strongest military like on planet, right? Like that threat would still be there, right? But instead of us actually like striking Iran, kidnapping Maduro, which sure, like he was a like horrible person, he should be held accountable for whatever, blah blah blah, all that stuff, right? Like wouldn't Harris's like position be like more preferable because we
I
wouldn't
think
be like
that-
killing children? The threat would still be there. We would still have like the very powerful military.
I would agree with that, except that I believe now. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that she stated multiple times that she wanted to downsize her military and defund parts of it. I know that she said she wanted to
I don't
defund.
think she stated that once, but I would agree with like cutting the military budget in half, and we would still have the most funded military in the world by a long shot if we cut it in half.
Yeah, that's
the
true,
Proposed,
but
the proposed budget, like the proposed budget right now is like 1.5 trillion. Cut that in half, we'd still be like we'd still have the most funded military in the world.
Why should we continue following the DOD?
if
Why
they
should we
defund the
wait? Hold on.
military,
Why should we continue funding the DOD when they can't pass an audit?
So
I don't think any part of our government has passed an audit in the
But
last.
I think here with what you said,
They
I don't
have.
think that's true. I don't think that's true. I don't think Harris like made that claim. Right?
I'm pretty sure she did. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that was Biden who was cutting that. But if they did cut any of funding, you realize who that would affect immediately. Correct. Because when
That's
Biden
correct.
made the cuts to the military funding, every single service member's pay got cut. You understand that I'm as currently, I make less than the average American as far as monetarily. So any cut.
Okay,
made
you were
to
also
that-
impacted during like the government shutdowns that were like caused by
Oh,
Trump.
100%,
Also,
dude.
also, when did President Biden cut the military spending?
He cut the military spending, I think, 3 times in his whole entire career. He cut it in Oh, it wasn't necessarily to. It was towards like expanding different technology. He wanted to cut the A-10 program. He wanted to cut the F-117 program, which he actually did cut the F-117 program. It's no longer a thing. He cut the Reaper drone project, but he
was
wasn't
Harris
gonna shut
going to
it
go
down.
down the same path of like
I
cutting all
think
these
she
things?
would have. I think she would
What's the
have.
evidence for that?
Looking at her current campaign and the way she wanted to run things, I think it's kind of like something you can just kind of see a writing on the wall. Maybe she wouldn't have. I can't say that for sure. But as far as the basically just the writing on the wall, I'm pretty sure she would have. I think she would have wanted to use that money somewhere else that would have made America a lot more vulnerable. Because that is one of the reasons why America hasn't been messed with as much by other countries.
Biden actually increased the DoD budget
I was
slightly
gonna point that
overall,
out.
but did cut certain aspects inside
Yeah,
the
that's what I
DoD.
was-
But overall, it did increase.
But like my point is here: A, Harris like didn't like campaign on that as far as I'm aware, and B, like like it's just like it doesn't. Again, if we cut the military like budget, the proposed military budget in half, we would still have the most funded military in the world, and we could just like reallocate this funding to ensure that like troops get paid, like you said, right? We can like even like during these like government shutdowns and whatnot, whatever. I mean, obviously, like incentives are being passed, so that doesn't happen again. Like the Senate passed a bill, like that they want to get like a paycheck. It's obviously like gonna be enacted after the midterms, but like whatever. There's incentive for that already, which good, right? If they can't like fund our government, they shouldn't be getting paid, right? That's an incentive for them to keep the government open and keep the government funded, whatever. But I think here, like you did kind of agree with me that like Harris's like process would be preferable, like the threat of the military being there, whilst not like using the military to like kill innocent children.
Right. As far as I do agree with that, not being as far as in an active combat zone, as far as that, or having our troops in active combat zones. But I also think that she would still fund the Middle East. I think she would send funding to those countries there, and I don't think we should be sending funding there at all.
To what?
I don't
Israel?
think we,
Who sent funding?
I don't know who's funding anybody right now. I think, did we stop funding Ukraine yet? I hope that we've stopped funding Ukraine.
No, we're still funding.
We're still funding. See, I don't think we should be funding any country.
How are we funding them, by the way?
I believe we're still sending them small arms, and I also think that we're still sending them Bradleys, the M2A2 Bradleys.
Okay.
I'm not
Okay.
100% sure.
I was just making sure you didn't say funding as in money, because we've not sent them that much. We
No,
have sent them
I meant
money,
funding as
but I
more funding.
don't know if we've sent them money as of recently.
Yeah, I know that
And
we're
if
not
you're, like,
sending
cared
money,
about,
but
like,
we're still
funding-
sending military supplies.
If
Yes.
you care about like funding and like doing things for other country, like Harris is obviously preferable in reference to like Israel, right? I mean, could you name me like one other country that like we've given a minimum of like billions of dollars to?
I know that we still fund the UN. I don't think we should fund the UN at all. In fact, we fund.
Is that going to be like
over
one particular
50%.
country though? I'm referencing like one particular country. Like
Not
give money to NATO.
necessarily one specific country. I don't keep up necessarily with that. I'm just against funding other countries, if that makes sense.
So you should be against like Donald Trump's very pro. I mean, he started this war because Bibi Netanyahu asked him to on February 22nd.
Yeah, I hate that. I agree with you.
So you don't like a lot of things about Trump, and you think that Harris's stances
There's
are
some things I
preferable.
disagree with. I'm not gonna say I hate or I dislike him. I'm just gonna say I just disagree with funding another.
He disagrees on certain aspects.
Sure,
Right.
If you could like.
Jeremiah, you got to remember this guy's
Yeah.
active duty.
Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Not necessarily off the top of my head. Some of the immigration stuff that has been brought up. Some of that stuff I do agree with on Trump. I think that we should be a lot more careful with our borders. Maybe not to the
Harris and
extent
Biden
as the
Harris and
violence.
Biden wanted to be careful. They wanted to build. They didn't want to, but they were going to build the Mexican-American wall to a greater extent with a bipartisan border bill. They were going to fund more immigration judges and courts. It would have like significantly incentivized people to come in legally compared to illegally. And Donald Trump shot that down.
I wasn't tracking that at all, but I do know that he's trying to get a lot of the illegal immigrants that are here now. Now, I don't necessarily think that it should be done as violently. But I also think that the actual American citizens that are having a problem with it are also part of that problem. I do think in some ways that if Harris had done it, I think a lot of the left-wing people wouldn't have been so fanatical about stopping ICE and then causing those violent occurrences. I think she may have gone about it a little bit different. That would have been better in a lot of ways. But I do agree with both Trump, Harris, that, or anybody else who says that illegal immigrants that are here shouldn't be here anymore, and no more illegal immigrants should be allowed here. That's just.
I disagree with like deporting undocumented immigrants, and I also think like the difference between Trump and Harris was the fact that like Trump is like undermining the Constitution, undermining checks and balances, and doing things illegally compared to like Harris, Biden, Obama. Right? I'm gonna disagree with Biden and Obama because they still deported people, and I disagree with deportations in reference to people who haven't committed violent crimes or bad crimes. Right, so long as they get put in prison in their own country, I'm fine with that. But I obviously heavily disagree with Biden and Obama. But I think, like you said, I think Harris's stance is going to be preferable here, because like, we care about violent criminals. I think we should. I think we should like prioritize violent criminals. And
I'd have to agree to disagree with the whole immigration thing. That's neither here or there. As far I just will have to agree to disagree on that one. That's just my personal belief. But I agree that anybody who undermines the Constitution in any way, but this also goes for any left side policies as far as gun regulation of any sorts, that's also a constitutional right. And if you are mad at one political person undermining the Constitution, then somebody else who undermines it, you'd have to be equally as disappointed or frustrated about. But I agree, anyone.
Sure, like if
regulations aren't unconstitutional, by the way.
And I was
we do. It is in the Constitution. We have the amendment that.
No, you're still allowed to have regulations. It's been
right. But
they just have to be reasonable.
If Biden like passed an unconstitutional like a gun control executive order, right, and it was deemed unconstitutional, yeah, I wouldn't support that because it's unconstitutional. Guess what?
Right, but how do you gauge whether it's unconstitutional? Is it
via the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court determined that Donald Trump's executive order on bump stock bans was unconstitutional. You can't name a single like Biden policy or like Obama policy that was like deemed unconstitutional via like the Second Amendment. Also, the Second Amendment is like it's a very like nuanced topic. You have to like go back and like talk about what the like writers were like referencing.
It's constitutional. Constitutional law is very complex.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, if you read the Second Amendment,
like down that route.
Second Amendment. I like have it pulled up and I can read. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Right.
Right.
It's very very nuanced conversation.
Right, and that goes for like the freedom of speech as well. Sure. The founding fathers weren't aware that social media and things like that would be. That's like the same as like, oh, well, firearms have progressed so much. Well, so has social media, and the freedom of speech has progressed as much as well. So it's like those are two different things. I honestly think that if somebody wants to have a fully operational M4, they should be allowed to. And the people who do have those are probably going to be less likely to be the violent type of people.
Well, the Constitution, SCOTUS doesn't agree with you. There are gun regulations that are constitutional.
Like what? What is constitutional?
Wait times, background checks, mandated background checks.
That is 100% constitutional, but that's not saying that you can't bear an arm. That's saying if you are a criminal to the point where you're going to harm somebody with it, that's removing that harm. That's not saying you can't own a firearm. That is for the majority of citizens. It's like if you have done something that means that you aren't able to have those same rights. It's like if you put somebody in prison, those unalienable rights are infringed because you committed a crime. I agree. Yes.
Like, what are you referencing when you're like?
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's still what I'm saying.
What are you?
I'm talking about the ban on suppressors. I'm talking about the ban on.
What are you referencing when you say like the right to bear arms, like weapons?
Right. I'm pretty sure right now California has, and a lot of other states have banned certain weapons. Like you can't have.
Okay. Like
unless a federal judge, SCOTUS, or their district courts say that that is unconstitutional, you simply do not have the qualifications to make the
It's
judgment that that is unconstitutional.
It is
Do you know what District of Columbia v. Heller is?
The what now?
District of Columbia v. Heller?
No, I'm not.
Okay, do you know what McDonald v. Chicago is?
No, I do not know what that is.
Okay.
I'm sure you're going to tell me though.
That's my point, is you don't know the history of the Second Amendment in the courts or in history in general.
I do know that nobody's going to take my guns. That's for
Okay,
sure.
like weapons. Like, should people,
the thing
should
is,
people
you
have the
are
right?
misunderstanding the Second Amendment in the context of constitutional law
And that's
as
why, like,
applied to the U.S. In the U.S. government.
Okay,
Okay,
let me bring
Understand that
this
there are-
extremist.
Wait, hold up. Read the Second Amendment to me again.
Sure, but before that, can I just like ask you a question? Like the right, like
Go ahead.
bear arms. You said like weapons. Right. What about like nuclear weapons? Should like Elon Musk be able to like own a nuclear weapon or like purchase a nuclear weapon?
That's not a small arm.
Small. Now it's about the size of the arm.
Okay, so
when you were saying like the right to bear arms, you were just saying weapons.
nuclear
right?
weapon.
that
A
size
nuclear
matters?
weapon isn't. That's a bomb. A nuclear
Okay, is
weapon.
that not like
isn't
a weapon?
arms. That is a bomb.
Is it a weapon?
That is a weapon of mass. Okay, so
it
technically
is technically a weapon.
It's
It's
technically a weapon.
technically a
Before I brought it up, you didn't say anything about size. And so how do we determine what the and are we to get a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state? The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
And there are also commas which imply independent and dependent clauses, which are important. There is case law, which determines what the SCOTUS views to be true and not. There is the intentions of the founders. These are all things that have to be determined when thinking about what will be constitutional or non-constitutional in the aspect of gun regulation. This is like constitutional law 101, political science 101.
The comments make like great points. Like it's just like a very nuanced conversation. The Second Amendment and like
AR is not a weapon of mass destruction.
and like again, I don't think like you know these specific SCOTUS cases. I mean, to be honest, neither do I.
I
That's
don't
why
know
I'm
these cases, but I do know this.
You know, the thing is,
wait, hold up.
we're
I've
not
let, hey,
qualified
Max,
to have
I've let
this
you speak
conversation.
over the top of me, and I've let you say your piece. Well, could you please give me that same respect?
Sure.
You're not qualified to have this conversation. That's it.
I am 100% qualified to have this conversation. 100%. If you're qualified to have this
say what you wanna
conversation,
say.
you
Take
can
it
make
away.
your points. I can make my points, big dog.
Sure, say what you want to say. We won't interrupt.
When the founding of our country was literally us fighting against our own government. Great Britain was our basically governor at that point. We were under their laws. Now they were overriding the American people, putting in taxes and doing things that we did not agree with. So we had a Revolutionary War about it. When the founding fathers made the Second Amendment, they didn't just keep in mind self-defense, because crime rate at that certain time was a hell of a lot lower than it is now. The biggest reason why the fucking Second Amendment was put in place was so that way if the government started basically treading on the people's rights, that the people themselves could defend themselves from the government. Okay. Now, if the government takes away all these weapons that we defend ourselves with, they can militarize us, like literally the military, against the American people and enforce things that are against the Constitution.
But
now, if the American
like state
people,
National Guards, right? State National Guards exist.
Also, by the
State
way,
National Guards do
that
exist.
argument,
That
the
is
argument,
correct.
the government has nukes. They have tanks. What the fuck is
They're not going to
do
nuke.
against
They're
that?
not going to nuke their own country.
Well, no, that doesn't mean they don't have that. That doesn't mean
You're
they don't have
100%
missiles.
correct. They're not going
That
to
doesn't.
nuke their own
That
country.
hold on. That doesn't mean they don't have tanks. That doesn't mean they don't have missiles. That doesn't mean they don't have like drones. That doesn't mean they don't have all this shit. Okay, what the fuck is an AR gonna do against that?
I think you're completely missing the point here. Like,
No, I'm not.
right. So if we have,
Yeah, what's
if
an AR gonna do
people-
against
if the
a
American
nuke?
people has,
No,
if the
dead
American
ass.
if the American people are allowed to have tanks and the American people have those weapons, which is my exact point.
You think? Wait, you think people should own tanks?
Why not? What's wrong with it? If you can
Do you
afford
think
to
people?
maintain
Hold
a
on.
tank
So,
or not,
but you think people should own tanks, but you don't
Why
think
not?
people should own nuclear weapons?
fuck it. Why not? Why shouldn't?
Yo, bro.
Oh my
For the sake of the argument. For the sake of my argument.
No, that's an absurdity. You're saying
what's absurd
Elon
about it?
Musk
What's
can buy
absurd
a
about
nuke.
What's
You're
absurd
saying
about it?
Elon Musk can buy a nuke.
Okay, but
That's
you're
an absurd.
This is why I said he's
It's
not
not for
qualified
the
to
sake
have
of the argument.
and not like you are not qualified to have this conversation. Again,
It's
you
not-
don't know the
you're,
case law.
you're
You don't
okay
know
with
the
Iran
case
having
law.
a
You
nuke?
don't know District of Columbia v. Heller, McDonald v. Chicago. Those are like the main two Second Amendment SCOTUS cases that you should know if you're going to argue anything about the Second Amendment.
And like now we're like pivoting back to Iran. No, I don't think Iran should have nuclear weapons. That's why I like the JCPOA, which prevented them from building nuclear weapons. That's why I don't support Trump, because he took us out of the JCPOA. I don't want anyone. I don't want any country, much less a private citizen, to own a nuclear weapon. I don't want any country to own a nuclear weapon. Not Israel, not China, not Russia, not us, not anyone. Right?
You realize
and
when I
you
said that
think,
was
for the
fucking
sake of the
insane.
argument, Elon Musk should own a nuclear weapon. That's absurd.
Dude, you realize when I said that I was tugging your chain, right?
No, you said for the sake of the argument, and that just proves your argument leads to absurdities.
But my point still stands.
No, your point is
If the
absurd.
government
Your point
decides
leads
to
to
militarize
absurdities.
against the people, if the government decides to militarize against the people,
We can't do shit. They have way more advanced technology
right,
than
wipe
us.
out, and if they wipe out all of the American citizens, who are they going to govern? Like, there can't be a government without people to govern.
Immigration.
Oh, so we're just going to create like a whole new like. Oh, okay.
Quite literally, yes.
That's a great idea. That's a great
Hey,
idea.
what do you think happened in the 1700s?
What do you think had? Oh my gosh.
Immigration. They destroyed a whole civilization to the point where there was a mini ice age. That's how much that's how much carbon emissions dropped because they killed off so many Native Americans due to their colonization. Yeah,
first of
they
all, that's
immigrated
not-
so they
that's
could
not
govern new people.
civilization.
They could govern new people. That's what they're gonna do. They're just gonna, new people to govern. If they destroy the whole country,
I think
yes.
this is.
I
I
don't
think
know.
this
I
is.
still think that they're stepping on too many Second Amendment rights, and they're.
You don't know shit
But
about
hold
case
on,
law.
hold on. Biden never illegally did something against the Second Amendment. Trump did, and he left. I didn't even kick him. But Trump did. Trump did violate the Second Amendment. Biden didn't. Moving on to the next.
He's mad because I called him
Trump.
out that he doesn't know shit about the Second
You're
Amendment.
up in the guest box. Chad, should I hit a restart or should I just end?
Do you really think we would use them against our people? I think we have the capacity to, and there are certain people that would. Do I think majority of them would?
What about our right to like change the
No.
minutes? Yeah, if you like get 2/3 in Congress, sure. It could be cool with that, but that's not gonna happen. There's
Dude,
not
I would
2/3
do
majority.
anything for the Second Amendment to be changed, at least for the writing to be changed. Like, whatever, you can have like the right to own certain ones, fine, whatever.
Yo, the right to own nukes.
Like, but please, for fuck's sake, change the wording of the Second Amendment. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of the NRA. I'm sick of people like that. Okay? I hate the NRA. Guys, sorry. I have like a pure hatred for the NRA. I wrote a 10-page paper for my English 101. No, English 102. Sorry. For English 102, I wrote a 10-page paper about how much the NRA sucks. That wasn't actually what it was called. It was about the NRA's effect on gun culture in America. But I just hate the NRA so much.
All right, y'all. I've been on for almost 2 hours. I'm gonna
I
get
need to
off
finish
now.
this fucking paper, bro.
Bro.
I started this paper
YouTube-
today. It's due in 2.5 hours.
YouTube.